Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're very excited for you to be with us today for this introductory session for a very special course that Urânio and Ursula are going to be teaching starting this next year. And we wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of what it's going to be about. I'm just here to introduce Urânio and Ursula to you, and then I'll hand it over to them. So for many of you, Urânio needs no introduction. If you've seen him teaching in our courses and especially in our inner work retreats, you'll see that not only is he an extremely brilliant Enneagram expert who has been studying it for 3 decades and who has used it as a business consultant and a coach, but also has done deep study in spiritual work. He has over 2 decades of training in different spiritual schools, including a Gurdjieffian Fourth Way school, a Sufi Enneagram school, a meditation school. And while he was doing this very deep inner work in different spiritual schools, he unlocked and further developed some natural gifts that he has in intuition, in sensing energy, in morphic resonance, which I'm sure they'll cover in the course. And so Uranio it combines a very special combination of natural gifts, but also he's someone who's worked very hard to develop those gifts and to combine them in really interesting and powerful ways in the work that we do together at CP Enneagram Academy. I'm really pleased that Uranio has decided to offer this course in energy work. We often get asked, how does Uranio do what he does, and how can I develop my energy sensitivity and my intuition? I'm very, very happy that Uranio has designed this course, especially for people who are interested in this. And I'm also extremely happy that there's been so much interest in this. Just judging from how much interest we've had in this introductory hour today, it's very exciting. I think it shows that people are interested not only in the Enneagram for understanding themselves, for using it as a personality tool, but also for deepening their awareness and their contact with their own spiritual being, with the divine in themselves. Now, I also want to introduce Ursula Skripkuna to you because she may be new to most of you, but she is a very close friend and a close colleague of ours in CP Enneagram Academy. And I want to tell you a little bit about her because you may not know her as I do. I've come to cherish her as a very dear, close friend. And she also combines incredible talents and skills that she has developed over many decades that she brings to the teaching of this course. So Ursula is based in Brazil, and she's a practitioner with more than 40 years of experience in spirituality and multidimensional sensitivity, so spiritual sensitivity. Throughout her life, she has dedicated herself to understanding consciousness, energy, and the multiple layers through which the human soul manifests. Ursula has had a psychic ability since childhood, but she didn't just go with that. She, starting at the age of 18, entered different spiritual schools and has been working on developing her gifts very diligently in different ways for many years. She's trained in many different spiritual schools and healing systems, including soul realignment, Akashic records, soul plan, chromotherapy, bioenergetics, hands-on healing, Reiki, astral travel, theta healing, chakras, Jungian psychology, psychosomatics, and twin system work. So she's done an amazing array of trainings to deepen her understanding of the spiritual essence that we all are. She's also founder of the Instituto Almas que Tocam, or Souls That Touch, a space dedicated to supporting people in awakening their intuitive gifts and deepening their sensitivity and reconnecting with the wisdom of their soul. So Ursula is someone who really has as her mission helping people develop their energy sensitivity, develop their spiritual connections, develop their intuition. And I know that she's very dedicated to this and a really amazing person. Also, she's written a book that is for parents of kids, of children that have spiritual gifts. It's called Little Guardians of Light, and it's going to be released in English next year. And her work is really about helping everyone contact their own spiritual gifts and develop them in ways that can serve them and especially serve their evolution. So thank you for being here. And now I'll turn it over to Ursula and Urânio.
Thank you so much, GB. I'm hunting Ushy now on the videos to bring her in here. Just about to do that. Where are you,
Ushi's
Ushy?
also a 5, so she might be hiding, even though she's one of the stars of the show here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so thank you so much, B.
Hello.
My pleasure.
Let's
Thank
Bye,
see.
you. Thank
everyone.
you, V.
Hey, Ushi.
Yes, you're here.
I'm so happy to be doing this with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Me too. Really,
Okay,
really
so
happy.
yeah, so look, our intention with all this is to help people go beyond the physical body and experience things like deeper levels of intuition, experience energy, then knowing what to do about it in all senses, like expanding, sensing everything, but also protecting oneself, touching base with all the spiritual faculties that can come together with all this, and get in touch with spiritual mentors and our spiritual lineage. So clearly we have a big ambition with this. And we designed with a lot of love and care an immersion that will try to address all these needs over a year, and not only in the virtual classroom, but also in some other initiatives. But we'll talk about this after we do a little bit of work. We want this to be useful for all of you. We'll leave more to the end, our talk about the upcoming immersion. Right, Ushy?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so I would like, Ushy, to invite you to first do a short meditation with us that has particular keys and instructions that already start working on energy. And just so that you guys know, both Ushy and I will, throughout the course, but also now, be sort of operating a little bit in the energy field of all of us, no matter where we are. Okay? And these meditations are also for us to intuitively and energetically get in sync with you. And some of you that are more experienced in this will probably feel that. And then feel free to share on the chat if you feel anything. Okay? So please, Ushy, start us off.
Okay, yes. Hi, let's start with the first one. I call this quiet energy, okay? And then take one breath, close your eyes. Close your eyes just to arrive. And notice the moment before the air comes in. There is a silence there. And now let your attention rest in that silence. Notice the place where your attention touches first, as if the space around you began to feel more alive. Do not imagine anything. Just notice what shifts when you look toward this inner space. And now allow everything within you to settle a little more without pushing, without looking for anything, only presence. And stay here for a few moments. Only presence. Only presence. Where nothing needs to be done. Nothing. Nothing needs to be done. Just feel your field of energy. Just this. And when it's time, return slowly. Really slowly.
Try not to move much, because we'll go straight from this one to another one, and yet another one next. So I'm going to ask you to intensify your breath in very big inhaling movements, like bring in more energy. And also exhale more vigorously. And while you do this, if possible, put your hands on your knees and open your fingers, like touching your knees sort of strongly, not with tension, but with strength. Allow the breath to energize your hands. A few more intense breaths. You might want to open and close your hands now with energy. And one last intense breath. Come back to a normal breath, but don't release the energy generated. And do like this with your hands, if you look at me. Do only what I say you can do right next. I'll just comment that at times after a meditation, we can do this and then have our hands on our faces, because then we recollect good energy and we clean ourselves. But this is not what we are going to do now. What we are going to do is this. Sense the vibration in your hands. And then very slowly, try to bring them closer together until you feel in a certain distance that varies from person to person, almost as if you're holding a rubber ball. It's like it's not very natural to allow the hands to go even closer to each other because you sense energy. And this is a first proof that energy is always there, right? Now, hold this ball with the two hands, like the 360 degrees. Sense that it's in between the palms of your hands. And then bring this ball over, but more on your head, and leave it there. Leave it there. Take your hands off. You might feel an interesting sensation of actually having this ball of energy on your head. Like, for instance, I'm sensing a slightly colder energy right now, but it's mostly tingling on my head. But each person will feel it differently. You may even lean your head forward and back a little, and you might sense as if the ball is going forward or back. And do not worry if you're not sensing all these details. You can also think, imagine, or just understand that this is happening. And now, do another vigorous in-breath in a way that you will bring this ball inside your head space. But you can't, try not to allow the ball of energy to go down from the head. Allow it to be in the head. So one big inhaling. And sense this ball of energy coming into your head. And opening up all the head space. So important. Head center. The head center, so important. And feel that the energy is filling in the head space. It's very pleasant. And now you imagine that the whole ball becomes the head center, and try to visualize or think that this has a light blue or silver color. And I'll say a sound that helps vibrate that thing when inside the head. Ahi, 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 ahi. Chances are that your breath is more unobstructed. And then make sure you open the fifth chakra around the throat and allow the ball to drop down to your heart as if it's an elevator now going down to the heart. And breathe deeply into the heart. Move your shoulders back so that you open heart center and the chest cavity even more. Use your mouth to breathe inside the heart, and a lot of new energy goes into your heart space. And right now, this energy has a slightly different color. It's color pearl. Special kind of white. It's a little bit like a pearl color. And I'll do a sound. Iao. 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 And allow the ball to flow down through the solar plexus cavity. See it opening, the third chakra. And then all the energy goes down to the whole of your belly. Allow the belly to inflate. So you're managing to breathe more into the belly. Use your mouth to intensify the experience. Unless you're laying down, then don't do that. But if you're sitting, then intensify it with a mouth breath. So now sense that the whole energy that you generated is inside your belly. The color becomes like red or pink or orange, one of the three, according to what comes to you. And I'll do a sound. Ararita, 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 ararita. So ararita in the belly, yao in the heart, and ahih in the head. So we are in ararita. Let's go up to yao. Allow the energy to flow up to the heart. Yao. And up to the head, ahih. And then down to the heart, yao. And just relax. There is no right or wrong. If you're experiencing this just partially, just relax and keep going. And go down to Ararita. Make sure you breathe in the belly. And we'll come up to the heart and you breathe in the heart. Ya. And up to the head, Ahi. Down to the heart, Ya. Down to the belly, Ararita. Ya. Ahi. Ya. Ararita. Ya. Ahi. Ya. Ararita. Ya. Ahi. Ya. Ararita. Ya. Ahi. Ya. Ararita. Ya. Ahi. Now it's only one. It's only one. It's a flow of energy through the whole of the breath canal, integrating the three centers of intelligence. And the breath is different, and you are more energized in the inside. I won't do the next steps of this exercise. It goes on and on and on, just transcendental realms. I'll just say a few of you might be sensing the crown chakra because this energy wants to blow out and go up, as in a column of energy going up. And then also some of you may be feeling the energy wants to go down, like through the tailbone going down to the earth and explode, go inside the earth. This is natural. It's the kind of thing we're going to do in the course, by the way. Alignment between being here in the planet and being up there in the skies. Remembering we are in here and we are not from here. Now, Ushy, do you think you can go straight to doing this last meditation, this last exercise? You are on mute.
Sorry. Yes, now we do another guided meditation, and it's about listening field. And I want to invite you to a simple experience. And if you can, gently close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Just follow the flow. And breathe without changing anything. Breathe without changing anything. Just notice they're coming in and going out. They're coming in and going out. And as you breathe, notice that there is a movement inside you. that it's not physical, not thought, and not emotion. It's something quieter, more subtle, and do not try to understand. Just notice that it exists. Just stay in presence. Everything that is happening is right. Believe that your field of energy has its own wisdom to help you in everything. Do not try to understand, just notice that it. And now bring your attention to the space around your body. Without imagining or creating an image, just perceive, just perceive. Everything that is happening now is right, because it's not about right or wrong. Just perceive. Just breathe. Just breathe. And perhaps you notice a gentle pressure or a warmth or coolness or simply a shift in the silence. Just breathe. One hand in the heart and the other one in the belly. And just feel. Feel your connection with the body, your soul and your body as one. And just this simple hands, one in the heart and the other in the belly. Can also bring you in presence. And you can feel more in alignment with your energy. Just breathe. And say to yourself, I am here. I am here. I
am.
am here.
I am here.
And gently you can open your eyes. Slowly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ushy.
Yeah.
Different people have different experiences with this. Sometimes it's just peaceful, sometimes it's expanding, sometimes it's a big relaxation, and sometimes it's a little bit of all of this, and sometimes something that feels troubling happens. So, Jen, thank you for sharing on the chat what's just happened with you, the pressure on the third eye and the headache. If you're hearing me, I'll do something with you right now. You need to help. You need to see that the third eye is getting even more open. Don't go towards closing it. Trust it for a while and allow it to open like this. Open your mouth and very gently bring in air through your mouth. You sense that the limits of the head energy are no longer the skull. Please allow that to happen, going beyond the skull. Most probably your headache has to do with trying to keep so much energy inside the physical head. The energy you're being in touch with is going through the third eye. And when it's happening like this, it's not normal energy. It's not the energy that the physical body can handle. So you need to use a bit more than the physical body. In this case, the physical mind. The physical mind is too limited to cope with this kind of energy. So feel that the energy is now flowing around your head and not inside. And we'll help you, Ushy will help you now with creating a protective, like glass structure around that so that you don't go too much beyond, because we want you to feel settled, integrated, and organized when you leave here. I don't know what you're experiencing, but in case this works, the headache should have gone. Please share on the chat. And Marisol is yawning and feeling pressure on the face. You need to understand, is it a pressure outside in or inside out? If it's inside out, imagine that you have this wider head around you. It's the start of being in touch with the higher mental center, where we can get in touch with the holy ideas on the Enneagram. But if it's outside in, it's incoming energy. And you need to do the same thing we said to Jen, like allowing the energy to flow. And then tingling. Wow, tingling happens. Whenever you're tingling, you're awakening that part of the body. It's being more used than before. If it's the brain, you're using more of the brain, not just a tiny little fraction. And also the tingling has to do with the movement of energy. So it's all good and you're not going crazy. And a headache is if you try to hold on to that. If you try to keep that inside, it must not be just a physical experience. It needs to go beyond the physical. This is why we are calling this course Beyond the Physical You. This is the common denominator of all we are going to rehearse during the course. Intuition, spirituality, and guides and mentors and everything else has to do with going beyond the physical body. Yes, and relax. Relax while keeping a good body posture. So Ushy, I think it's good if we just say like during 5 minutes or so, how you and I see energy work. I'll start by saying that to me, energy work has an interesting physical dimension to it, which can even lead to some healing in the organs, alignment in the body, and then the first chakras, for instance, and you know about chakras more than I do. And then there is another dimension, which is projecting energy outside to experience the transpersonal and knowing how to manage both, how to direct it inside and outside, and also to be able to expand and contract. So being able to manage it according to our own will, but at the same time allowing it to also flow with the natural movement of the flow around us. Well, what would you add?
Yeah, something that I understand is really important is when we understand that energy is everywhere. Everything is about energy, and it has a frequency and it has a vibration. Something that we can see in more details after. Yeah, we have many things to talk about this. And we really need to understand that sometimes simple exercises can bring a lot of sensations, perceptions, and we can understand a lot of things with simple things, like I'm feeling my hands. We have a chakra, when you talk about the hands, we have a chakra here, and then the exercise that we are doing are putting our energy in movement, and then we are putting our energy in movement. And this is really about some sensations that we can feel in the body, in the head, in the hands, and in many places, And I also would like to say something here because I think it's important. Sometimes when you feel that you need to be more in alignment, this exercise, like putting one hand in the heart and the other in the belly, is just for you to bring you to the center, because we have a central channel here, and this is just for you to come back here to your center. Then you can feel more your essence, and you really can be connected more with you are, And then it's a simple exercise and help a lot for alignment and for you to coming back to your center. And this sensation that you can feel is completely different. And it's
Yeah,
amazing. Try to do it as many as you can, and you really can feel the sensation of not doing this and doing this simple exercise.
great. And for someone like you, this is also helpful so that you don't go everywhere with your big intuition and energy and you start flying all around, because this is what happens with someone like you. If
Yes.
And we need to pull you back, but you know your way back because of like sensing the body again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you go to places like Egypt, one of your favorite ones, right? And there are possibilities when we really travel with energy.
Yeah.
It happens a bit more with some people during the sleep, but it's possible. But it all needs to start like being able to see an object in front of you and not just see it from a separate standpoint. It's more like I'm sensing the energy now around my body, and I'm allowing this energy to encompass the place where the pencil is. So the pencil is now inside my field of energy. And I'm concentrating in sensing this pencil. Right now, I'm sensing the fibers of the wood. And it changes completely my body sensation. It's almost like I'm becoming those fibers. I'm knowing this pencil from the inside. And then I need to have the ability of disconnecting from it, because I don't want to walk around in half an hour being a pencil. I need to come back to being Urânio. So there are techniques to go inside objects in energy, because in the transpersonal, the laws of physics no longer work. It's more like the laws of metaphysics. So two bodies can occupy the same space differently than the physical bodies. If it's the subtle bodies, we can do like this, and then we sense everything. But then you need to be able to push it away and to clean yourself, right? And to make sure that you come back to being only you. And in the room right now, there are people who find it very hard to expand and sense, and other people who find it very hard to disconnect later. It varies a lot, and people in between. So there are techniques. If you couldn't sense much, just try to concentrate a bit more in the exhaling. And like in Ushy's last exercise, sense the field around your body. And by the way, move your hands a little bit now. And see what's the speed that you're doing it naturally. Is it different than normal? Is it slower? If it's naturally slower, it's because you are in touch with this energy outside the body. There are names for that. I won't bother you with this now. If you're not, if you're moving normally, like in daily life, allow yourself to move more slowly so that you can come back to being more in touch with this, right? So I see, Kirsten, that you have your hand raised, but if you don't mind, we'll go to your question in the last 10 minutes, okay? So very briefly, for no more than 20 minutes, I would like to tell you a bit more what we intend to do in this course. So this is not a workshop, because we want this to be a program that will help people develop the skills. So we're not calling it a program so that it doesn't get mixed up with what we have at CP, our beautiful professional certification program and our personal mastery program. So we are calling it a 10-month intensive. And it goes beyond the classroom. This is why it's not a workshop. So lots of assignments and teacher peer support in a private WhatsApp group. I won't read all slides. This will be available for you guys later. Why do we call this an intensive? Well, the beyond the physical you is not passive at all. So during the lessons, we will include exercises that you need to do during classes. And then there will be lots of practices in between sessions. We'll talk about the commitment needed from you if you consider registering. Then there will be sharing of experiences with other students in a private WhatsApp group. This will accelerate results and help build momentum. And this will include interaction with all colleagues and teachers in this large compulsory WhatsApp group, meaning that both Ushy and I will be part of this WhatsApp group. And we will do our best to answer questions, and we'll provide further guidelines. We'll potentially send additional materials, and everybody will share the experiences they are having. They will get support from each other. We want this to work as in a community of mutual help. And then people who find it easy to get the results from all this, we'll ask these people to provide a little bit of like hints to the others, because if you're experiencing that, the very best way of keeping learning is helping teach a little bit, right? So it will be very organic and a very lively WhatsApp group. We'll have a few rules, like neither Ushy nor I will be able to connect individually with you guys through WhatsApp. And sometimes it will be Ushy who answers, sometimes it will be me. So there will be a few rules, a few boundaries, but we want to really be there in support for everybody to develop the skills that are possible to be developed. And there will be different levels of development. And we cannot promise that everybody will develop to grade 10, but everybody will be able to go steps forward for sure. And there are a few extra commitments so that this happens. And then we're considering putting people in an additional smaller WhatsApp group, like 7, 10 people at most, in which there will be a bit more intimate exchange. And we'll do whatever it takes to help you have the capacity to have your questions addressed and your experiences shared and understood. So we want, and actually for our way of teaching, we need a big group because we need to move energy, and that helps us a lot. But this does not mean that there won't be space for you to share or whatever. By the way we are doing this is there will be a lot of practice during the classes, but most of the questions will be done in the WhatsApp group. So very, very important. All levels of energetic sensitivity are welcome to this intensive. From beginners who don't find it easy to feel, to students who are highly sensitive. It's a challenge for us to have all kinds of people with all different levels of sensitivity, but Ushy and I have talked about different ways of working around this. And we want each and everyone to have a very meaningful experience. It's an immersion to awaken or to develop further your intuitive capacities, to enhance your energy field, connect to life force. We'll have one particular class for this, spiritual guidance, and in an intentional community guided by us, and opening the doors to subtle perception. Now, participate if you are truly open to the theme. I'll be very, very honest with you. At this point, neither Ushy nor I will have the patience with participants who say, well, but I don't know if energy exists, or I don't know if I believe in spiritual states. So if this is your case, we don't think this course is for you. We don't want to stop and start trying to convince people of the basic thing that will build everything upon. Come if you're truly interested in the theme, but know that there is no requirement of previous knowledge. Also, very important, come if you have already done some psychological work. And if you're committed to keep doing the psychological work needed, that needs to happen in sync and in parallel to opening all these faculties. Come if you're ready to experience some pretty interesting things. Also, if you're open and interested on the Enneagram, but you don't need to have previous knowledge. I'm pretty sure that with the WhatsApp and with us there, you end up getting the bonus of learning more about the Enneagram. And if you're ready to commit, we'll talk about what the commitment is now. Now, there is one more thing. Participate if you're not too bothered by Ushy and Urânio's silly English as Brazilians. Hopefully you're not that bothered. And B will be there. She can help if we say anything silly. Right, B? Yeah. So.
Right.
Okay. Good. So commitments. There will be 20 2-hour classes, and we need you to be present live in at least 10 of those. And then all the rest, you need to watch the recording in up to 3 days after the class happens. Everything will be recorded. You can watch again and again the class. It will be available, the recordings, until June 2027. But you need to see all classes. But if you find it hard to be live, you can be live in less than the 20. Practice the homework. The homework is essential, an essential part of this course, right? So at least 15 minutes per day in activities. And sometimes these 15 minutes can happen while you're walking or even doing things. In other times, you need to dedicate 5 minutes or 15 minutes for that. Ideally, more than that, but 15 are good. And we will not answer questions of someone who hasn't done homework. This is another thing we're not going to do. Okay, and it will be very important to commit to that. We'll have a very good management of the talks in the group so that nobody monopolizes talks or brings up things that don't make much sense for others, but there will be space for your questions and for us to address things. And you need to participate in the WhatsApp group, at least reading it. You don't need to be very active in writing there. And some interaction with colleagues. The smaller group WhatsApp will be optional. Okay. Now, it will be great. So we highly suggest you do that. And the class dynamics is 30 minutes in the beginning with a short meditation, a grounding exercise, and content from the previous class. And an interesting thing is, if I teach today, Ushy will teach in 15 days. So she will be talking about what I taught, and she will bring her own perspective and added things that come from her, and vice versa. But we'll also be doing something during these 30 minutes, which is aligning everybody energetically. In here, it will be a not so secret thing that we'll do in working with energy during the first 30 minutes, okay? And the rest of the class will be dedicated to a theme. And then we'll get initial questions about them, but the questions will be mostly asked in the WhatsApp group. The dates you can see later. It's from March to December 2026. And very quickly, we won't have time to read everything we said. And so I will just skip this. And there are 20 very, very specific class themes and one teacher for each of those. You can read about these on the website, and certainly you get more messages on email. So this is something we're really looking forward to doing, connection with individual spiritual mentors. Oops. Yeah. Chakras and connecting to the chi and life force. And 2 classes on energetic cleansing and vibrational frequencies and using the 3 centers and intuition. And then very specific things. I'm making sure that Ushy will talk about very specific things she teaches in Brazil, including working with very hard energies that can be with us, that we call obsessors. It comes from a particular spiritual tradition in Brazil, and also untying ancestral patterns in methods that add to other methods like constellation and more. And even an intro in assessing pain and doing something about it through energy work and assessing physical conditions or trauma healing, but intros. We are not doing a full course on this. And again, class, and then homework, activity, practice, support, then class again. So it's a process. And even finishing with an assessment of spiritual lineages. And this will be something Ushy and I will prepare beforehand. And we intend, we talked already about how to do this, to do an assessment of each student, at least in the very beginning, about the spiritual lineages, and then do some work in the classroom. So this is most of it. You can read about us. And the website has all the information needed. Now, I think it's a good moment if there are maybe a few questions, like 2 or 3 in the last 5 minutes, if you can help us with that.
So Carrie asked 2 related questions, so I want to pose both of them to you and then have you respond. So she's saying, with the course, will you provide beginner definitions for concepts like subtle bodies, things like that?
Yeah, we will. Okay. But remember also that the course is either in the class or on the WhatsApp group. Sometimes we'll send short texts that will clarify that, and we won't talk about that in the classroom. Or some other times it will be the opposite.
Okay. And related to that, will you assess each participant's level of energetic sensitivity, intuitive capacities, subtle bodies, etc., at the beginning?
It's a partnership. So you will do self-assessment, we'll help you with that self-assessment. Sometimes we'll feel what's happening with you. Sometimes we'll have a talk and then say something specific. Our intention is to help you find out what's going on with you in that theme, in the scope that is being talked about. Now, we just need also common sense from all of you, in which we can't provide all possible kinds of individual support. It's more like if you need something else that's not part of the theme or goes way beyond the theme, then you have, for instance, the chance of hiring Ushy for an extra hour, or we can give you sources for reading or even a hint. But our bias is to do, as you well know, to do more so that the students get more.
I think you addressed this, but there were a couple people asking, so I want to ask it again just to be clear. Will the course be capped at a certain amount of participants and how many?
No,
Okay.
no maximum amount of participants. And why? Because we want this to be organic, and people who need it will come, and people who shouldn't be there won't be there. uh, energy wise, that will happen. And then we will have mechanisms through the two kinds of WhatsApp groups to still uh, retain the possibility of giving you personalized answers. And you will share your experiences that are more individual. And hopefully, you will choose to be part of one of the small WhatsApp groups. And if needed, we're even thinking of additional things. I won't talk about them now, to help the experience of you guys in smaller groups to be even more pleasant and efficient. So we both Ushy and I work better and in our own energies and what happens in the whole field when there is more people. The course will be richer this way.
Mhm. And a couple of people asked something of a similar kind of basically saying they rarely sense or experience energy or spirit when involved in this work. They're not very energy sensitive. Again, I think you spoke to this, but can you reassure people who maybe have a harder time getting in touch with a felt experience of energy that there'll be different ways of helping people develop that ability?
Yeah. So we need a few things from you, whoever wrote this, but certainly you are speaking on behalf of many people. We need a few things from you first. You need to promise that you're not going to give in to pessimism, hopelessness, and more, and that instead you will do the daily homework, being extremely resilient and going to that. And then if you do so, whatever happens or doesn't happen with you will be there for you and all the colleagues too, to help you enhance the experience, integrate things. And many, many times what we see is that the person is having a few experiences but doesn't know,
Yes. Yeah,
right?
yeah. And Ushi's good at helping you see when when you're having an experience but you don't know it. And again, I can speak on behalf of these people because I'm not very energy sensitive and it has been a source of frustration for me. But one of the things I've learned is it's a lot about practice. And I can tend to get frustrated and give up too soon. But I think the main thing to say is that they'll be providing a lot of support for you to develop this capacity. And I think there are not very many places you can go to get this kind of support. And that if you really stick with it and practice and sort of tolerate the frustration and keep going, that you will see changes. And sometimes the changes are subtle in the beginning. And so you need to sort of notice what the subtle changes might be and keep going because it just a lot of it takes practice and just doing it and doing it and doing it even before you can really feel something shifting.
Right. Yeah, and we are very used to this, right, Ushy? Especially you. You've been doing many different courses like this and some other ones, and Ushy is very patient, very loving, and very good in teaching people who are in the beginning stages. I think you're more patient than I am.
I think I am a little bit.
But I really feel super happy to help people when they're doing their part also.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe one more question from Carrie. And this goes back to the practice that you did at the beginning, but it's linked with what we're talking about here in terms of getting better with practice. She says, I felt energy in my hands, however, lost the ball of energy when we brought it to the head. Will that
Mm.
improve with practice? I have practiced Qigong and felt this ball in my hands for a few years now, and I hope I can learn to feel it in my body more with practice.
Right. So it might be a case in which there is a slightly bigger or thicker armor in your body, and we can help you do something about it to dissolve a little bit of that armor so that you open some of the channels into the body, like the crown chakra, opening it. So there will be practices, yes. I'm a little bit concerned in hearing from Kirsten. I think she had her
She
hand.
actually said she didn't have her
Ah,
hand up. She said
okay.
that apparently that was an accident and she was having a hard time taking it down. Yeah,
Fine.
yeah.
And I know it's time. I don't know if
Wait,
Ushi,
there's
do you want to say anything else? Or
one,
yeah,
one,
one more
one more
question.
thing I want to go to from the chat. There's a person saying, be mentioned on the podcast. This would be a good course for someone who's energetically sensitive, but because not having been trained in managing, life has seemed chaotic. This
Yeah.
resonated with my experience. I'm doing psychological work, as you mentioned, with a coach who combines Enneagram and mindfulness and the three centers. Part of me feels this intensive might be an energetic overload. Yet another
Yes.
part of me is saying, yes, this will be helpful. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, first thought is it's Ushi's life mission to help these people specifically.
Yeah.
And her
Yes.
book and everything she does. And I also feel such empathy for these people. And we even in our retreats, we've seen a few things we can help these people with that are sort of life-saving.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Ushi,
I'm sorry, I just want to emphasize that you also need to be doing spiritual work
yeah,
because people who get really into this and are good at it can easily do a spiritual bypass. So we will reach out to some of you if we're concerned about that and you haven't done psychotherapy about the dangers of doing this without psychotherapy. So there are a few people we may even require to do psychotherapy if you want to do this course, because if you haven't, it's too easy to do a bypass. So I just wanted to put in a word for that.
right.
And one more question. Do you plan to do a more advanced course after this one that will deal with the introductory themes you mentioned?
Okay, so probably this course will not happen the other year, 2027. I'll try to convince Ushi to do something a bit more like a complement in 2027 for people who do this course. One of the possibilities is going beyond even into mediumship, for instance. And Ushi teaches people who are mediums and more because she's one and you have struggled a lot in your previous life decades ago, right, Ushi? And
Yes, yes.
so we may offer something more advanced, but it's not a promise. And the good news is this will be already a lot and a sort of longer term thing throughout 10 months. But Ushi,
Yeah,
you
I
wanna-
I would like to say that yes, I'm so patient about some things, and for me it will be like a pleasure to help everybody in what you need. And the persistence is really important because we need to understand that sometimes for something happen, some people need 1 month, sometimes the other needs two, but you need to keep doing some things for you to understand what's happening and how to treat the things that are happening with you. And I have to say, like the for more than working with all this kind of things, I understand that yes, we can stay in a good place and we really can know how to develop some things and to work with some specific things, and really depends on you, what your body wants, what your field of energy wants, and it's really beautiful, when you really reach some places and you can be in a beautiful and a good place and be patient with you and be gentle with you. And this is the right path.
Yeah. Well, we'll finish because of time. I just
Yeah.
want to say that we were delighted to have so many of you. We hope to see several of you next year, starting in early March. And yeah, and I see many well-known faces and some, I'm excited with some new faces here. So thank you so much for taking an hour from your Saturday.
Thank you everyone
Thank
for
you.
being here. I know I'm excited about this course and I'll be there participating and we
Yay.
hope you'll join us. We think it'll be an exciting journey and after this course, I think there could be possibilities of continuing courses after this. So we invite you to join and be a part of this adventure.